welcome in to another episode of TNJ Sports Podcast. Drizzy's here. I got Tstalls, and we
What
got a
up? What
special
up?
guest Tyrone's going to introduce here in just a moment. But welcome back in for a new week. Got a lot to cover, so jump right in. Tstalls, take it away.
Tstalls here, everybody. So, like Jordan said, we do have a special guest with us. It's our first one, so we're actually excited. Other than him being a UK fan, we're still excited. But excited to have my former college teammate, strongest man in the Ville to me, NASCAR loving buddy, John Hook. But on the show, we're going to call him Captain Hook because everybody gets a nickname. So, John, welcome on.
What's up?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Not feeling too good after that Tennessee game.
Oh, I already understand, man. It's all good. We'll be able to vent that out this week, well, on this episode. But like you said, I'll go ahead and start with the great performance that my Cards put on this weekend. As everybody should already know and seen, Louisville's defense is dominant in this win over Wake Forest. 8 turnovers for one of the best offenses in the league was huge. One of the best quarterbacks in our conference, of course, in Sam Hartman. It was amazing to see our defense play like this. They've been doing it the last 3 games, man. And I don't know if you all got to see the beginning of this game. Louisville jumped out early, 13-0. It looked good. Like, wow, I'm really surprised. And then, in my opinion, ACC made a phone call down to the refs and said, hey, we need to help Wake Forest out. And, they took a lead going into halftime 14-3 on a touchdown. I don't think it was a touchdown. Jordan, when I sent you that photo, when you look at it, what do you think? You think it was good? You think it was a touchdown?
I think it was a toss-up, or whatever was called on the field would be a little bit hard to overturn.
That's a good UK answer. That's a good UK answer. But,
it was a touchdown.
Yeah. It's probably undisputable. I'll give them that. But it looked like they had a good video shot of it where it looked like the tip of the ball was touching around. But nevertheless, after halftime, in all my years of being a Louisville fan, this had been the most historic quarter in UofL history. We scored 35 points in this quarter and didn't give up any points in that quarter. We didn't give up any points pretty much in the second half until a gimme touchdown at the end of the game, which it shouldn't have happened because Riley, our defensive back, who ended up with 2 picks in this game, he intercepted the ball with like 30, 40 seconds left, and he was in the end zone, runs out of the end zone. I guess he wanted to get another touchdown because he already had 1 pick six. So he's going for another one, runs back into the end zone and realizes, oh, if I get tackled, it's going to be a safety. So he tries to run back out and gets the ball knocked out of his hand, and he fumbles, and then Wake Forest recovers and scores on the next play. But other than that, the defense shut out the best offense in the ACC. If this has anything to say what, the rest of the season will look like, I think we'll be fine this weekend. We'll get bowl eligibility against JMU, James Madison. They're a very impressive team. Huh?
That's a real team there, though.
Oh, it is. I have it right here. They're a very good team. They have an impressive win against Appalachian State, early in the season when they came off their win against Texas A&M. And they were ranked 25 in the nation. That's huge.
Yeah, their losses were Georgia Southern. Yeah. They jumped out. Georgia Southern jumped all over them early, and they tried to come back, and it was too late.
Yeah.
And the Marshall game, that was pretty good the whole way through, though. But yeah, JMU's got some dogs on their team, man. They're pretty good.
And that's why they were, one of those top teams in FCS. That's why they played with the North Dakota States in that league. And, now they're proving it. They got that first ranking in their history at number 25. But then, like we just said, they lost to Marshall, and then they lost again in their last game to Georgia Southern. They had a bye week this past weekend, and now they take on a finally motivated Louisville team. And I think Louisville is going to get it done again this week. And like I said, get bowl eligibility. So
we'll see. That JMU offense is good, though. They average 38 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if y'all's defense shows up, you should win. But if they get rolling early, it's going to be a dogfight.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to say we have Wake Forest's number because, we won 2 years ago in a shootout. So I think that was just us having a better offense that year in 2019 or 2020. But then last year, again, this is why I said the referees, helped them out because they put 3 seconds on the clock last year. going into halftime, and they got a field goal to go up by 3, and they eventually won by 3. But I think we figured out Wake Forest's offense, and that's why our defense looked so great that game. JMU is something different. Like you said, they have explosive offense. So if our defense comes to play, I think we should have no problem. Hopefully Malik will kind of build on what he did last week. He made some good passes last week, and of course he was still a good runner as always. But I'm excited, man. Finally to be bowl eligible. Knock on wood, though. Don't want to be, a team that loses.
You're saying that like you ain't lost all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be a team that loses, when they got so much right there in their hand and don't want to choke on the big stage of
we getting that.
Y'all talk. But let's go ahead and talk about the team that
where are you getting at there?
Yeah, what are you getting at? Because I mean, it is the big stage, prime time, but also that's not a game anyone picked us to win going into it this week. And
I beg to differ. There's a lot of UK fans and other
experts. There is UK fans. There's no experts picked us.
Yeah, no experts picked us in that, and there's a reason, and it showed. So, say losing every loss we've had this year, that team has been ranked in the top 25 at some point.
Oh yeah,
so,
South Carolina game was
some embarrassing losses. We have some very embarrassing losses. Look at Boston College, who lost to UConn. They lost to UConn, and we lost them by 1 point.
That's bad.
It is very bad, but it's all good. As all my Louisville fans know, listening in, you have to be resilient. You have to just keep pushing on. Just know better days are coming, and we got a good week this week, and more than just football. We'll talk about basketball on another podcast, but just know we got a lot of excitement going into Saturday.
Hold on, I ain't gonna skip over that. Y'all losing to a Division II school in basketball.
Yeah, you can't just skip. You say go have a good. You had a great win in football Saturday. Then you dropped. you didn't even score 50 points and lost.
Hey, did I ever say we were going to be good in basketball this year? I said we're going to have a good coach in Kenny Payne, and recruitment should go up. And now with this monkey off our back, we don't have to worry about these teams such as the one down south telling teams, telling players, you won't be able to play in the tournament. They're going to be banned. They're going to be banned.
South are you talking about?
What team's down south from Louisville?
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, Western.
All right, Mr. Geography. The team in Lexington.
I know we went to Wagner, but I mean, you still went to college. You should know north and south.
I wasn't a geography major, but the team in Lexington.
Just look at a map, man. You're not even close.
Oh. Y'all just being too technical. It's all good. It's nothing to expect. I expected this when I said, John, come join the show. And then I thought, man, I just got another UK fan on here to bag on me. But it's all good. So why don't y'all just go have your little pity cry together while I sit back and just enjoy while y'all discuss whatever kind of performance UK put on this past weekend.
All right. Well, John, I'll start it off with we lost to the number 3 team on the road with a Heisman potential quarterback, and our defense played awful, and so did our offense. So there's not really much to talk about other than we just got to go back to the drawing board and figure some stuff out. What do you think?
Rich Gangarillo called 12 or 13 screenplays during the game. And they had roughly, 40 plays? So roughly one fourth of our offense was all screens. Mm-hmm. That's not how you win football games, number one. This isn't Madden. That's not going to work. We only had one deep ball all game, and it was dropped. I don't know if you remember that towards the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and it would have been. It was when the game was still 7-6, I believe, and it would have been a great turn to keep momentum our way, because that was a for sure to fire touchdown down the middle of the field, and you dropped the ball. So
it was the guy who was covering him fell down behind him. All he had to do was catch it. I think it was Tavion Robinson doing it.
Tavion I mean, I get he's been injured to come back, but I mean, You catch a football for that's what you've done for years and years. You just don't forget how to do that. You just start lose a little concentration. That's all I think happened, but it killed us.
If I gotta say, I mean, in that big moment, and I mean, they'll say it all the time. Commentators say it all the time. The hardest catch is the one where you're wide open and you're going to walk into the end zone. So
that's your job, though.
Oh, not to brag on myself. It never happened to me. I never dropped a wide open touchdown, but I mean,
You're never wide open.
Huh?
You got to get open first, bro.
Oh, I'm always open. I told my quarterbacks all the time, I'm always open. But it happens. I mean, like you said, he's a great receiver. I mean, it happens, but I mean,
it happens, but it shouldn't happen. You have a chance. You're on the road.
Oh yeah.
You're down one. Catch the pass. Go up or tie it at that point. I can't remember if we were what the score was. It could have been 7-6 or 14 or 13-6. It was the opportunity that we needed to stay in the game, and it completely deflated us. And after that, you saw what happened.
Yeah. So. And then C-Rod getting hurt didn't do us any favors either. He got hurt right before the half. He only had 65 yards, and that was only in one half. So another 65 in the second half could be a little bit of a closer game, but it wouldn't have made that much of a difference anyway. But
if anything, we held on to the ball a little bit longer. But I mean, we still had the ball 10 minutes longer for the game than they did. We had 35 minutes worth of possession. So, and the year before, I think they only had 17 minutes of possession in that win that they had in Lexington. So, I mean, their offense is great. Defense did what they could. They just outplayed us. There ain't much else to go on than that.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been happy. I mean, I wouldn't have been happy that we lost, but I would feel a little bit better if the game would have been like, let's say, like 28 or 30-14, somewhere around the line.
More respectable and more where our offense showed some, because they were the 130th out of 131 passing defenses, allowing like 327 yards of passing a game.
Only took one deep shot all game. That's what kills me.
One deep shot all game, and we only had 98 passing yards to the defense that has given up these, almost back end of the spectrum with giving up the most passing yards in the nation. So that's a little unacceptable.
More on your quarterback though. I mean, I get y'all saying the offensive
play calling, bro.
The play call's bad, but I feel like the quarterback has some kind of confidence in knowing that he can make some passes and will scheme up something more than just one shot and one screen pass. But I can say a lot about the offensive coordinator. I need to get rid of him, but he's a first year. I don't see him getting fired unless you lose out.
Well, I got 2 points here. So what Scangarello doesn't do, he doesn't set up like plays later on. Like if you watch, like Lane Kiffin's offense is perfect for this. Like he'll call plays at the beginning of the game to set up plays later on in the game.
Yeah.
Like short dump off passes, like screens and stuff like that. Then he'll run like a fake screen and have a deep shot. Scangarello doesn't do anything like that at all. Like doesn't call any sort of play action whenever everybody knows we're going to run. Like it's so frustrating to watch. It's like watching a little kid get on Madden and do have Madden pick his plays. I don't know. I keep comparing it to Madden because it just didn't make sense to me.
I think Madden
is a college coach.
If you let Madden pick for you, I don't even think they would pick those kind of plays.
Yeah,
I think the algorithm will even know better than to do that. But so if you had to say, I mean, I kind of already know the answer. Who would you say is more important for this team, Levis or Rodriguez?
Levis, because I mean, you saw what happened in the South Carolina game, and we won games without Rodriguez.
I can see the Levis point because of that South Carolina game, but then I can also flip the script to Scangarello's play calling in the second half, where Chris Rodriguez didn't get a rush attempt until the fourth quarter. I mean, that's just inexcusable play calling. I don't care what you're trying to scheme up. The dude is a bruising running back that doesn't get arm tackled and can run through, men like crazy. And you didn't give him the ball till the fourth quarter when you had a backup quarterback in. I mean, they both are important. I could see Levis probably being a little bit more important from the standpoint of offensive line calling out protections, check downs, and stuff like that. But also, Chris Rodriguez could be equally as important because in the Ole Miss game, when he got the ball and came back, you could feel there was a different energy about the offense when it was kind of clicking in the second half on that comeback a few weeks ago.
Right. But another thing I noticed about Scangarillo's offensive line stuff is like there's the schemes don't make any sense. Their blitz pickup is horrible. Like you see guys just running free at will, like almost any blitz. Like I don't know. It just seems like I don't want to say it like this, but it's just what it looks like. They're not practicing any type of blitz pickup during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's absolutely awful.
They're not picking up what that defense has done in previous weeks, their tendencies, what they do on 3rd and 7. Do they rush? What to pick up there?
Right.
And honestly, I think that's another thing. Does that not fall back on? I know you said at this level, yes, I do agree at some schools and some players, but as important Levis is and him being a senior, I feel like he should be able to have some say in play call. He should be able to help this line out, make those kind of adjustments. I'm not putting it all on Levis, but as everybody knows, what's the most important quarterback and who gets the blame when they lose, who gets the glory when they win? The quarterback. So is this more, I know it is on the offensive coordinator, but can Levis not have some kind of input to help out there? Is he just
I don't know, man. There's something not clicking with that offense. Like any sort of stunt that I'm seeing on when they're playing, it's
you can
bad,
definitely
man.
tell it's something, and I think it's leaning towards offensive coordinator because it wasn't like this last year. Y'all definitely had more than 1 30-point game, and I think you scored over 40 points by the 8th game in the season last year. You haven't done it this year, so it's.
I think Levis would have more say so in audibles, checkdowns, protection coverages for that offensive line if Liam Cohen had come back and he had that offense from last year and he'd already had a year under his belt. I think there's a little bit more leeway. But then again, I mean, sometimes you just got to go rogue and just do your own thing. I mean,
right. But Scangarillo did come from the 49ers, and I don't know if you've watched any of the 49er games. They run like last year. It looks just like them, like a lot of short dump offs, nothing deep because Garoppolo can't. I mean, he can't do anything.
Yeah, and Kentucky doesn't have a Debo Samuels like he did. So I can see that. I can see that. I definitely can see that. Trust me, I know all about bad offensive play calling or not, at least not developing schemes throughout the game. You got to constantly develop your scheme throughout the game. You can't you have a game plan, but you also have to be able to develop and evolve that game plan as it goes forward in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And then, like you said, it looks like it didn't. It looked like it actually did not evolve. It regressed. And just calling screen plays, and then in previous weeks against South Carolina, not running the ball when your best player, second best player Rodriguez is the guy you need to give the ball to, not giving it to him. So it looks like Stoops needs to make some decisions before. Obviously you're not going to fire him. The man's been 2-10 before. You're not going to fire him, but
that was your point, man.
He needs to make some decisions because y'all have a big dog coming. Y'all just had. The newcomers, but you have the big dogs coming. So,
who, Georgia?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Louisville there for a minute.
No, come on. Sure. How many beers have you had? Ain't no big dog.
I thought he was talking about all them recruits he's been thinking he's still getting next year. So,
I mean,
I got one last point that I didn't like about the start of that game.
Yeah,
is I think going into it, Stoops' mindset needs to be a little different. You're an underdog in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just beat Alabama a couple weeks before. It's a raucous crowd. You won the coin toss, man. I think you take that ball at the start of the game and you try and run it a little bit, do some play action, get a deep shot, try and take the life out of that crowd immediately. Do something. Be a little bit more aggressive in that, at the beginning, because I mean, they scored a minute and a half in the game. And so you're already playing behind the 8 ball. It doesn't matter at that point if you're getting the ball at the start of the second half. You
Yeah.
didn't execute. You planned on, we're getting a coin toss. We're going on defense.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't come up with any sort of defensive game plan for that to begin with. And then you're already down a minute and a half in the game. I just want to see a little bit more aggressiveness in that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's a good point. I mean, your offense is not an explosive one. You kind of like control the game by running the ball, running the clock. And like you just said, Tennessee scored with 1 minute. I mean, that's an explosive offense. So you want to keep them off the field. So yeah, I can see taking the ball there, but
you know what? I would have, if I would have won the toss, I would have had Tennessee take the ball first. The way we get the ball the second half, because you know how quick they score.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then the way that Kentucky started, like if you start off slow and then Tennessee goes down and scores, you give them the lead, and they get the ball the second half. So we're just gonna keep pouring it on.
It looked like it was this outcome was gonna happen regardless, but it is what it is. So looking forward, you have Missouri, as we mentioned. So what is your thoughts on this game? I mean, as we know, Missouri almost gave Georgia a scare a few weeks ago, but Georgia, of course, pulled it off. What is your thoughts on this game here? Is this a get back game, like get right?
Well, I mean, it's got to be a get back game. You can't drop another one in a row where one loss becomes two and then two becomes three, and that just seems to be the staple of Mark Stoops when he loses.
Mm-hmm.
His teams have a letdown like that. I guess the South Carolina can kind of be an anomaly with Levis out, but at the same time, you still are more talented across the board, and in my mind, a better coach than Shane Beamer. So you shouldn't. That was kind of inexcusable. But I mean, you're on the road, and you had that dorky ass coach out in Missouri who's playing for his job probably, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always been a tough game every year.
Yeah.
But it is a get back game, and not must win, but it's pretty much must win. You lose this one, there's only 2 wins left on the table.
Well, this game kind of scares me a little bit because Missouri will randomly show up in games like they did against Georgia.
Yeah.
And they play fairly well at home, but like you said, there's a dorky coach out there coaching for his life. So I mean, I don't want to call it a trap game, but this one really does worry me.
It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em for sure. I mean, looking at it right now, you're a 1-point favorite. That's alarming. But and as you mentioned, Missouri, you don't know who's going to come to play. They kind of already on that nothing to lose, especially with their coach, who's he has nothing to lose, only stuff to gain out of this game right here. So he may come out with those trick plays. He may take the ball if he wants the coin toss, like you mentioned, Stoops would do. So Missouri has nothing to lose in this. UK probably maybe dealing with some injuries. I don't know what their players looking like, but that's a beating they just took this past weekend. So they can either come into this game angry, ready to show the world, or they're going to come down with their tails between their legs, and Missouri's going to keep it going.
They'll be playing without our 2 inside linebackers. Jaquez Jones is still out. I think DeAndre Square's out this week at least. So I mean, your 2 senior inside linebackers are out.
I think Jones is out for the year.
Yeah, I know. I never knew they officially say he was done for the year, but I know it was indefinitely. So hopefully he could come back for maybe like the Louisville game and a bowl game or whatnot. But
yeah, it'd be cool.
Of course, he'll come back for the Louisville game. You already know that. It's a big game right there.
Yeah,
man, I don't know, man. You talk a lot of smack. I think it might be a butt whooping again.
It's a big game. It's a rivalry. You want to come? Is he a senior?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely going to come back. He wants that last win against us.
He's an Ole Miss transfer though. I don't know if he's embraced that rivalry.
For some reason, whenever all the UK players and coaches understand that, it just takes Louisville coaches and players a while to understand it. But I think we're starting to understand it when you lose, 3 in a row.
Three in a row, the way that you lost them. That's the big thing.
You would hope they understand it by now, but we'll see.
Yeah. Could have been 4 in a row, but COVID saved y'all.
Yes, it did. COVID saved us a couple times against you all. And
the basketball one, I think Chris Mag was just scared, but it is what
that was 100%. He was scared.
Oh,
110%.
he won't get fired too soon. He wanted to make sure he can get some kind of more money out of us. But all right, so that's our wrap up for our U of L UK games. So another exciting thing that happened this week, we did have the college football playoff rankings come out finally Tuesday night. So as you know, we got Tennessee #1, which is not a shock, really. I mean, I can see them being the #1 team.
Right.
It was a little iffy. Then you have Ohio State, which I think is the more important one. Georgia, and then Clemson at 4. With as we mentioned, Michigan and Alabama on the outside looking in. What are y'all's thoughts? I'll start with you, John, since Jordan took first on UK. What's your thoughts on that?
I think TCU got absolutely snubbed. I think they have the 3rd toughest schedule, and they didn't even get mentioned in this. Like they should be ahead of Clemson. Let's be real. Clemson and any other conference, they wouldn't be a top 3 team.
Wow.
Like that's probably a hot take, but I mean it is what it is.
No.
Like, DJU is not a good quarterback. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, but
neither can we. So we just say DU.
Uiagalelei.
Look, there you go, Jordan.
Yeah, DJ Ukulele. I don't know.
Yeah. Ukulele. All right, Jordan. What say you?
I mean, I don't agree with Clemson in there. To the same point that John made. Any other conference, they just wouldn't be where they're at. Win wise, I think they would get absolutely destroyed by any of those top 6 teams if they played. So I mean, I think they'll lose before. So I don't think Clemson will make it in. I think it's just going to be really tough to see between Tennessee and Georgia who wins, and is this weekend's game, is that an elimination game from the playoff? Because obviously the winner of that one should go to the SEC title game, and at that point it'll be trying to figure that out. And if Alabama makes it, I don't know. It's just
it'll be a close one.
Throw Clemson out of there, and I think that those top 5 are the best 5 teams out there.
Yeah. So my thoughts on it, I agree with you. I think TCU did get snubbed. I believe it was it you, Jordan, or John, who sent me the post earlier saying the strength of schedule?
Yep.
Yeah. Strength of schedule. Clemson is up there at 28%, and chances of teams going 8-0 for those listening. For the chances of these teams going 8-0 with a certain team's schedule. Tennessee, was 8-0. So if other teams got Tennessee's schedule, what's their chances of going 8-0? Is like 28% for Clemson, right?
I think that was like their opponent. I don't know. I have to go back and look. It was like there was overall strength of schedule.
Yeah. So I mean, I get by looking at it. I view looking at Clemson overall throughout every game they play this year. Do they look like a playoff team or like the Clemson of old? No. Does it look like they should be in the college football playoffs? No. And I get it. Everybody wants to say the conference looks weak. It's if they're in a different conference, but everybody says that about every conference until you actually have the playoffs. I mean,
I got a point on that though.
Yeah.
Remember Florida State with Jameis Winston's last season, how the ACC looked really bad.
Yeah.
And then they got the playoffs and they got destroyed by Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what this reminds me of.
I agree, but you have those many instances a lot. I mean, shoot, UCF even thought they should be the national championship back when they went undefeated, but they didn't make it because of their conference. I mean, everybody's going to be biased about their conference, but in my opinion, if a team is 8-0, a team's 8-0, they look good, they deserve to be in it. So I think these 4 teams should be in it, but I think TCU, based on who they played, and they should be number 5, if not 4. So yes, you have the undefeateds going in because no matter who you are, if you're undefeated at this point in the season, whether it's ugly wins, it doesn't matter. You should be in it because ugly wins build that strength and confidence when you go to these hard games. When you're down 14-0, oh, we've been here before. Let's pull it out and win. And they end up pulling it out and winning in big time games. So Clemson has been in big time games this year, and they pulled it out and won. They've been in games they should have blown teams out, and it was close, but it builds teams into being those great teams that end up eventually winning. Georgia had it with Missouri. Ugly win, but this is going to build them down the road. So I feel like they have it right. Tennessee definitely should be 1. I would have Georgia at number 2. I would have Ohio State 3. And then I'm iffy on Clemson, TCU at 4 and 5. But Alabama missed their opportunity to show they should be in this. Michigan, they haven't really played anybody strong other than Penn State. That was a big win for them.
They beat them pretty bad, though. They beat them pretty bad.
Did. That's very convincing. But does that say more about Penn State or Michigan? We'll see as the season goes on.
Well, look at how Penn State played Ohio State this past weekend as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, they played them tough. So you could look at it as Michigan beat the hell out of a really good Penn State team, and then Penn State had one hell of a game against Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
It's how you want to look at it, but I mean, it could be one of the same.
Oh yeah, I mean this is relatively new. Well, the first college football playoff rankings came out in what 2014, 2015.
I think so. 2015.
Yeah, so this is a new, as we seen in those early years. That first ranking, the first Tuesday comes out. Everybody's like, "What? Why are they the top 4? Why are it's going to change next week on Tuesday? We're going to have a new top 4, obviously because Tennessee and Georgia. We're going to have a new top 4. So I think it just puts more of a bigger target on these teams. Clemson has a big target because they're 4. Ohio State has a big target because they're 2. Tennessee, are they going to let this number 1 ranking go to their head while they go against Georgia? And Georgia's going to be angry and mad that they're number 3 and they're defending champs. They're undefeated. Why aren't they number 1? So I think this just makes it more interesting. Huh?
Let's hope so. Cannot stand.
This is going to be a good game regardless. I hope it's not a blowout either way. I want this to be a legit dogfight, because not that they're both, Tennessee Vols, the Dogs, and Georgia Bulldogs. I want to see a dogfight. But, so another question on this, other than college football, playoffs, me and John had this talk before. Who do you think is like Heisman hopefuls? John, you gave me your pick, which was Max Duggan, right?
Yeah.
And, my front runner is Hendon Hooker, of course. I mean, I'm not trying to jump on the bandwagon, but it's Hooker for sure. George, who do you got?
I mean, Hendon Hooker. I mean, that's a good one. CJ Stroud's doing really well up at Ohio State. Other than that, I can't really think of anyone else that jumps off the top of my head. It just really like makes their team special and really just changes games.
Oh yeah. And I think the reason why I have Hooker so high is because stats don't lie. This guy against AP teams, he has a 1,543 yards passing, 14 touchdowns to 1 interception, and he got that interception against Alabama, of course. I believe it was a tip pass that got intercepted, but I mean, this guy's playing outstanding. He did good last year. No, did the wins regulate into how his performance was? No, but he's performing exceptionally well against good opponents, and his stats showing it. Max Duggan, he's showing it as well. He has 2,200 yards passing, 22 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So, I mean, I think those are your 1 and 2 right there. But, of course, Max not getting looked at. It's usually CJ Stroud, and I think even Bryce Young fell off because of his injury and loss.
Yeah, TCU is going to keep getting overlooked until, I mean, hopefully they went out the way they can actually get some attention. But I don't know, man. They got absolutely snubbed. I'm still not over that.
Well, John, we got about to have a quick break, but we're going to come back and we're going to discuss the pick'ems that we had from this past weekend. And if you want to, we'll love to get your picks for the teams that we have this weekend. We'll do that, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Everybody, welcome back in. So we are now to the point, guys, where we are going over our pick'ems from week 9, and all in all, very good week for both Tyrone and I. I went 5-1. I had Kentucky in there as a winner, which that was a dark horse, but Tyrone went 6-0. So we're looking on the up and up there. And John, I think you're going to be picking games with us this week, so you're going to get to take part, and that just means you got to come back next week too. So
sounds good.
Heck yeah, man, I'm loving it. So I want to do this too. I'm gonna make some bets. I don't know if you're listening in and want to do the bet with us, but I'll do the bet. You guys don't have to put any money in it, but whatever picks we make, I'm gonna make a combined bet on this, because I went 6-0, and I feel like I went, undefeated. I think that's my third time now. Yeah, my third time going undefeated on this. So I think I need to make a bet on it this week.
Your third time going undefeated, but it's also the easiest weeks to go undefeated on. Big guy.
No, at Louisville Wake Forest was a toss up. Did not see that coming, and then Ole Miss Texas A&M.
What do you mean we didn't see that coming? We both picked them.
Not everybody thought Wake Forest was going to lose.
No one thought
that had the biggest spread.
So,
well, we got this week. We got a lot of great games this week. Actually, I think this is going to be even better on a big payout. So, go ahead and kick it off, Jordan, with the first game.
All right, so week 10 matchups. We have so we're going to start off with Alabama LSU. I know it's a night game on ESPN. So Alabama's on the road. LSU and the fighting Brian Kellys are doing something for once, which just goes to show he's a pretty decent coach, even though he's like the most unlikable person around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to roll with Bama just because they had their one loss, and I just don't see them losing again. Tyrone, will throw it to you and then throw it to John.
I'm right there with you. The fighting Brian Kelly sounds good to me, but it's not going to be good enough for Bama. I think he needs a couple more years to get some recruits in. Brian Kelly, I'm talking about. I don't see it being a hard task for him to get recruits in there, as long as he doesn't twerk on any more of them. But I think it's
a horrible fake Southern accent.
Yeah, but I got Bama in this game. It's going to probably be a bad one for LSU. What about you, John?
I'm gonna go the other way, but I'm still picking Bama. I got LSU putting up one big fight in this one, since they are at home and they play really well at home. Yeah, I'm still gonna take Bama, but I think it'll only be by like 3 points.
I'm about 3.
Definitely can see that. Like you said, LSU is playing a lot better. I give them that.
They play great at home. They always play great at home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great environment. We should go to a game there.
You gotta wear LSU gear though. I don't want to get spent on.
Don't wear any UK gear. I won't wear any Louisville gear. Actually, I think I'll be fine in Louisville gear. They'll probably just laugh at me, but don't wear any UK.
You're gonna understand a word they're saying. They're gonna speak Cajun to you.
I'm actually going to New Orleans in a couple weeks. I may try to go over there.
I think that'd be a great place to take in a game at. But it's got to be a big time game. We can't go no little game.
Well, watch out for these big time games, because this next one, the price of the ticket just to get in was $600 plus. I'm not trying to do that. And that's Tennessee versus Georgia, which rightfully so. It's going to be a great game. So you got to pay for that kind of experience. So, with that $600 entry, what do you think is going to happen in this game, John?
I don't know. I really want Tennessee to lose one because their fans need to be humble just a little bit. I don't know. Part of me wants to pick Tennessee. Like, my head's telling me to pick Tennessee. Heart's telling me to pick Georgia. I'm gonna go with Georgia again. Gonna be another dogfight. Probably gonna be a 3-point game again.
Gotcha. What say you, Jordan?
I'm rolling with Georgia as well. For partially one of the points that John made, I'd want to see Tennessee lose because I hate their fan base. They're god awful colors. They're horrible, smelly town.
The whole place smells like dog piss. Like, let's be honest.
The whole place.
There's nobody in Tennessee listening to this.
No, I hope they all listen. I hope they are, because they need to hear about themselves because they're trash.
They were absolutely awful when I went to the NCAA tournament game. They are the most obnoxious people on the face of this earth, man.
They really are. They're worse than Louisville fans.
Whoa.
Well, okay, we like Louisville fans to an extent. Like, you're pretty good. But
we're not bad. We're not bad. We're
and you're a good
fan. There are plenty of good Louisville fans. You just got to stay away from the ones with the line beards that smell like cheap whiskey.
Yep.
But Tyrone, who you got in Tennessee, Georgia?
I got you right here. This should tell you all you need to know.
We look back on dear old Rocky Top.
Let's go Vols, baby. Vols deep, baby, and Tennessee's going to take Georgia down. Rocky Top, baby.
Stetson Bennett's going to have the game of his life.
No, that's next week when he plays UK.
That's nerdy. He's going to come out and just beat the brakes off of him. Hooker.
Elman going to beat the brakes off of Hendon Hooker.
I just got to say that. I can get to add this in earlier. Georgia is without their number one running linebacker in this game. I know it might not matter, but that's huge when you lose your. That's huge though. You're losing your your big guy on defense, your pass rusher. I mean, obviously you don't want to keep Hayden Hooker under not comfortable in that pocket, and you lose out on your number one ranked player. So Nolan Smith's out for the rest of the season. That's huge. That's even good for you guys. I mean, Levis may only get sacked 7 times now. So,
Fair enough.
So I mean, it's going to be a good game. I hope it's true. I hope it's just like the Alabama game. Honestly,
that was a fantastic game.
I don't think it would get.
It was great, but it was disgusting.
I don't think it'll be top because Georgia's defense is, great, but their offense isn't that great unless unless Stetson Bennett does put on some, jetpack like he did last week. He had like a 40-yard run.
I mean, when you're running for your life, you're going to run fast.
There's going to be a lot of bleeps on this, guys, but it's all good. It just shows the hatred you have for the Vols. But, all right, well, that's what we got for Tennessee, Georgia. What's the next game on this list?
We got so I made this list far off in advance. I should have updated it. We got Florida and Texas A&M, which is not any sort of a decent game anymore.
Oh, dear God.
So
I'm
rolling with the Gators just because honestly, it's not even really a game to worry about. So John, what do you think?
Stephen A. Smith said this last week on game day. He said, "I'm picking against Texas A&M until they show me something worth picking for." So
that's the smartest thing that man's ever said.
Yep, probably is. But yeah, whenever Richardson's rolling with Florida, they look like a top 10 team. But outside of that, if he's not rolling, they suck. But
yeah,
I guess give me Florida. This game. I don't know. I might not even watch this one.
I don't think a lot of people will probably be watching this. What time is that game?
I don't even know what time it is, but I'll check. Hold on.
Probably 7:30 game.
I don't think they want
to be on ESPN Plus game.
That's a 12 o'clock. Yeah, 12 o'clock game.
I'm definitely not watching that. So,
well, I'll be that guy again, and I'm actually a Florida Gator fan. I like Florida when they're not playing Louisville.
You do not like Florida and Tennessee. You like everyone in the SEC but Louisville. Just jump over to the good side.
Nah.
He likes Indiana too. Don't let him fool you on that. He likes everybody who doesn't like Kentucky.
Thank you, John. You get me. No, but honestly, Anthony Richardson is he's
hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you give a quarterback so much hype after one game or at the beginning of the season, it kind of gets to him. And
he played good against Tennessee. Don't forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
He had 400 yards on Tennessee.
I mean, that will generate a lot of hype for you. I do get that.
And that's pathetic that we had 98 passing yards, but Anthony Richardson had 400.
It was like 450. Like, honestly, I think it was 450.
The man had 1/4 of his season total yardage in one game. Man, but yeah, I just got to go with A&M. For some reason, Mel Kiper in that mock draft he put out, he has Anthony Richardson as the third quarterback take. Well, fourth, because he has Levis and Young in there as well. But he has a fourth quarterback taken, and I'm like, all right. But yeah, I just don't see enough from Florida.
No, Kiper's a joke anyway. It's all right.
Yeah, they're a 3-point underdog, so I'm going with the house, and I'm taking A&M.
A&M's a favorite by 3. What are you looking at?
I know Florida's the underdog by 3.
I thought you were taking
Taking
A&M.
A&M. No, I said I like Florida, but I'm taking A&M because
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
He's picking against us as always doing.
Yeah. Well, I can admit that his picks were already put in here before I even made mine before we came back. So he had them down beforehand. He's not flip flopping like you Louisville fans usually do.
Whoa. When have we ever flop? We own that we're a bad team and we stay owning it. Now, Kentucky fans, on the other hand,
keep living your pipe dream of Deion Sanders and your banner coming back. Moving on, Florida State.
Just like a UK fan, try to sneak something.
Deion Sanders is not touching that program, bro.
I loved my time in Louisville. Yeah, he loved his time playing baseball. No one likes playing baseball in Louisville. So, again, moving on. Florida State, Miami.
Anyways,
go
ahead.
He's playing for the Reds anyway. Let's be real.
Nobody wants to play for the Reds.
Hey, easy.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, y'all both are Reds fans. Oh man, why am I doing this to myself? Jeez. High school programs is what you guys like. That's all that is.
No, we like piss poor baseball teams is what we like.
That's where I'm sitting here watching Houston and Philadelphia in the damn World Series. It's awful.
That game, it's been a back and forth series, though. I mean,
I just want to know how you hit the record amount of home runs in one World Series game, and then the next game you get no hit.
Set a record for no hits. That's the first time there's been a no hitter in the World Series.
I think there was a perfect game in the no series.
No hitter though. That's the first time there's been like no hits. I mean, a no hitter, but
a perfect game is no hits and no walks.
Yeah. Come on, Ty.
Come on, dude.
Hey, I'm just going with what ESPN said.
For 2 weeks. Did Fifi not teach you anything?
ESPN said no hitter. I'm going with off ESPN. Come on, guys. The news never lies to us. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, what we got on this next game?
Another snoozer. I really need to update these. Florida State, Miami. Miami won last week with 4 field goals and a 2-point conversion.
They took that Broncos offense and ran with it.
Man, literally. They said, let's ride.
I mean, I got Florida State just because Miami looks like trash, especially at home. Their QB even came out and said, I like playing on the road because the atmosphere is better. It's a shit show.
Dang, he really said that?
He said
he did.
He did. It's in the interview that the road atmospheres are better, and he likes playing on the road. So,
that was a doing road play, like road teams, or if he was really taking a hit at his own fan base. That was a bad comment all around.
Tyrone, who you got?
Just because that quarterback said it, and I already had FSU pick, I'm going FSU because Florida State they're better than Miami right now. Hopefully the U returns, but I don't know, not with this guy.
Paid all this money for this guy. John, who you got?
I've only watched one of them play all year. And that was FSU.
Shit play.
Huh?
I said that's good for you. You didn't see crappy play.
Yeah. I guess I'll go with FSU. I mean, they're the only team I watched of the two, and they beat LSU in the process. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. I guess I'll go FSU.
It's a dumb game to pick, honestly. It's back to back. I'm sorry that I failed with these picks, honestly.
The next one's good. The next one's good. You may not think so because
the next one's a game of what could have been had these teams actually lived up to their potential in Wake Forest at NC State.
You should have some sympathy for Wake Forest. Okay, that program has been thought to have been good. They were ranked in the top 10. A lot of hype around their program, and then they lose it. Kind of just like a program in Lexington. But
hey, where's Lexington on the map, man?
I don't know. Ask the geography major. Drizzy, tell him where's it at on the map.
Hey, look, man, you went to college. I did not go to college, and you don't know where
It's not south of Louisville. It's southeast, guys.
No,
It's
not.
east.
South,
It's east.
Southeast. Do you not have to go down to get to it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
If you're talking about going down, I mean it's like a minuscule amount down. Southeast of Louisville.
All right, I feel like we're having this water wet conversation here. Who do you got, Wake Forest or NC State?
Wake Forest.
There we go. Who do you got, Jordan? I mean, John.
Who's the home team?
NC State.
Give me NC State.
No Dennis Leary on that one though.
Yeah, I don't know. I got Wake Forest. They're definitely gonna have to bounce back after getting that. Yeah,
But they could crawl under a rock and just say, "I can't believe we lost to that punk ass city." So
yeah, they lost to the Battle Chicken. What are we doing?
You lived in the city. You live in the city.
I don't live in the city. I used to.
You live, Jordan. You live in, John.
No, I live in Shepherdsville, bro.
Shepherdsville people always say they live in Louisville just because nobody knows where Shepherdsville is.
No, when I lived in Shepherdsville,
everybody's like me. They don't have the geography skills to know where it is.
That's because you don't want to sit there and explain it to people who don't know how to use a map.
Exactly. And you'll be talking to me like, where is that at? Oh, we're Louisville. We're Louisville. Jeez.
Every time I said where I lived, it's like I live in Shepherdsville. They're like, "Oh, where's that?" I'm like 30 minutes south of Louisville.
Thank you. All right. What we got a Wake Forest, NC State there. So next game, I think this actually made the hype better this past weekend with Notre Dame beating Syracuse. I think there's a lot of hype around this game right here. Clemson versus Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Who do you have in this, Jordan?
I want the fighting Catholics to come out and produce.
Look at that. Early in the year, you didn't even like the Catholics. Now look at you going for them. I like it.
I mean, I'm Catholic. I gotta give them some props at some point.
All right. Well, John, I don't think you're Catholic, but are you going with Notre Dame as well?
What was that matchup again, man? I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about how bad you are looking at the map.
Notre Dame and Clemson.
Oh, give me Clemson by, I don't know, 7.
About 7? All right.
Yeah, because DJ's probably going to throw about 4 interceptions, and they still pull it out somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson as well. Like I said before, they're gonna probably have an ugly win. DJ ukulele. There we go. It's probably going to have the 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions, but it's going to be a dogfight, and Clemson will come out on top like they have been, in the other 8 games this year. So,
do I gotta get you a phonics workbook to learn how to pronunciate words and shit, dude, for Christmas?
Talking to me or John, because we both can't pronounce it.
Talk about you.
Ukulele.
He at least came up with something good. Ukulele. I mean, come on.
Ukulele. I'm not even talking about him anymore. I'm talking about you, Jordan. You ukulele. All right. Well, now this is probably an easier pick, because I am an Indiana fan, so it was hard to pick against them. Not really, but Penn State versus Indiana. Are you going with the Hoosiers?
I just want to know one question real quick.
If it's an off-the-ball thing,
why in the hell are you rooting for Indiana sometimes?
Where's Maddie from?
So?
I got to cheer on with my Hoosiers, with my Hoosier girlfriend.
Your Hoosiers.
Huh?
Yeah, what are Hoosiers?
You said your Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, what's a Hoosier?
Look, I've been asking them at every event, what is a Hoosier? I don't think Hoosier fans know what a Hoosier is, but there'll probably be 30 different things for it.
That was a car tire.
Here, listen, Maddie, what is a Hoosier? See, they don't even know either.
It is a native of Indiana. That's it.
Oh.
Lucy looked it up, said it's a native of Indiana.
It's a native of, that's what you are, Maddie. You're a Hoosier. All right. There we go.
Everyone from Indiana is a Hoosier.
Oh, there's a fun fact about Indiana, though. All the birds fly upside down because there's nothing we're shitting on.
That's a good. So I can kind of think
Maddie would probably be the only person I like from Indiana.
What?
Maddie would be the only person that I actually like from Indiana. I just want you to know that.
Oh yeah, she threw up the rock star sign. Heck yeah. All right. Well, sorry for my Indiana listeners, but I'm going Penn State here. Yeah, I wish I could go to this game just so I can watch Penn State, but yeah, I don't think this will be a close one.
No, it's Penn State all the way.
Yeah, give me Penn State in a rout.
Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you this: my betting skills have not been it. Last night I bet LeBron to have 25 points, which he's done it in every game this year. The man had 15 points for the first time in I don't know how long. I said
Since
one guy wasn't
playoffs a couple years ago.
Yeah. I just haven't had much luck. So, hopefully I do better this week. I went 6-0 last week, so maybe I can, go, 7-0 this week. But so that's all of our college pick'ems. Thank you, John, for coming in here and helping Jordan, trash on me and my fan base.
I didn't need any help to do that, but I'm glad to have backup.
It's all right. I would love to have you back on the show regardless. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I really enjoyed it.
Well, good. You got to come back next week.
So, yeah, because I got to show you how bad of a pick Georgia was. I got to rub it in that I'm undefeated, and you have Georgia wrong. You'll probably have NC State wrong, and yeah, but you were right with Clemson with me. I'll give you that. I don't know what.
It's only the picks that you. Okay, I got you. All right.
But no, we appreciate everybody listening in. We enjoyed having our first special guest on.
Special
on here. Tune in next time. We'll pick this back up. Jordan, you got anything?
No, just thanks for listening. John, thanks for coming on. Had a blast. Hope you see you next week. You got to come back next week because we got to see how you did. So,
Yep. Thanks for having me, and I'll be back next week.
Yep, that's it. Drizzy, going to be signing out, guys.
Tstalls out.